Hello, my name is Bradley Hughes. I am with Issachar Financial Solutions and Issachar Capital Group. Thank you for considering the deal that we are offering. I have put together this due diligence package to hopefully answer most of your questions. But as you watch the video and have follow-up questions, please contact us and let us know how we can help you further. We would love to work with you. Thanks very much. And thank you for allowing me to send this information to you. This is a due diligence recommended sheet. And I put this together thinking if I knew nothing about this project, but were interested in knowing more about it, what would I want and what would I need to know? So I've compiled here everything that I think will be very valuable and important to you and help you make a good decision for yourself. What I'll do is I will just walk through the tabs that are here on this left page that I'll send to you as well. I'm going to click on these tabs and that will open a browser and we'll walk through each of these. So the first tab takes us to the landing page for Issachar Capital Group. This is just the main page for Issachar Capital and everything that we are doing. And from here, you can see the projects that are in play. If the website asks for a password at any point, I've included that here. The password is capital ICGS and right there for you. And then I'll click on the second tab. And within that web page, there's the password to enter this in, ICGS. This is going to open up our project developments, the current projects. So this page will always be up to date. We update it daily or weekly, a few times a week at least. This gets some activity on it because we have so many projects that are in motion and we really stay on top of this. So I'm going to click on Avamore. This is in the town of Villa Rica. I grew up around that area. It's out in West Georgia down I-20. And this will show you the plat and a description of what's happening in that project. This landing page is really interesting because from the developer, Mike Embry, the developer, we have a description of the project stages. And these are the things that he walks through when his development firm is opening up a project and working through it. These are the steps that he follows as a developer. And we'll talk more about Mike Embry in just a second. This particular Villa Rica project has 300 single families, 325 apartments, senior living, and each of these steps are the items that lead us to what we're after here, which is a land disturbance permit. If a developer has an LDP on the property, that's their golden ticket. They can shop that to the builders. You could think of Toll Brothers, Richmond American, any builder you've heard of would be a potential buyer for any of our projects. So if you become an investor, and hopefully you do, this page here will be of great interest and intrigue to you to see the projects progress along. So with Mike Embry, we have partnered. We are the exclusive capital partner to Embry Development. We're the ones that are raising all the capital for the development company. And Mike Embry and his family, it's a third generation development company at this point. Mike's father and his uncles were bankers back in the day. You might be familiar with Embry Hills or Embry Bank. And they're the ones that we work with. Let me click on here a couple of things just to show you who Mike is. Really established and well-respected firm in Atlanta. And it's, like I said, three generations. His kids now, which they're in their 30s, they are involved. And Mike has opened up his books on the process for all this for us. So as you get involved, it'll be really fascinating to learn about these things. I find great joy in just going through these pages and looking at stuff. And over the last 3 years of my involvement in this, I've learned a great deal about the real world and the development world. And then we'll look at the next page. This will be a flip book that we designed. This will, if you had nothing else, this is something good to keep on your desktop to look at, either digitally or you could print it off. This will show you the original Issachar team here on the left, everyone from Terry, Tracy, Heather, my wife, and myself. And then on the next page, I'm going to read these just because I think these are really important that you understand this aspect and what makes Issachar very different from most private equity firms. So, our deals, first of all, are primarily under a year. We have a contract that says we will turn the deal around to you within 12 months. We have a track record that's running more briskly than that. The deals are turning around anywhere from 6 to 9 months, but our guarantee is within a year, we'll turn the deal around to you. And when we turn it around, we're going to return your principal contribution plus a 17% interest improvement. So if a person were to give us $100,000 at the end of this deal within 12 months, we're going to return that original 100,000 plus $17,000 as the interest improvement. Really impressive. Let's see here. So yeah, and then just the rest of this book. One thing I do like to focus on is, and and I've learned this from investors as well, that this money is actually safer than what anyone would ever anticipate initially. And what I mean by that is when you are in the stock market or Wall Street, you expect there to be ups and downs and high risk, high risk, high return potential, but also high loss potential. With us, again, it's a guaranteed deal. And we're signing a contract to you. We'll talk about that contract here at the end of this. Our returns are guaranteed 17%. That's far above any market return that you could expect, and that would include risk anyway. So we're really proud and excited about what we're doing for our investors. So the rest of this book, I think, is valuable. That'll show you some of the pages and projects that were happening when we wrote that book. There are 3 videos in here that I would really recommend you spend time on your own to listen and watch through. When we get feedback, the best thing that we hear is, "It was great to hear from Mike Embry, the developer." You have direct access to a developer. Most of us have never been on this side of a deal before. These developers, Mike probably works 80 to 100 hours a week, and they're not really in the spotlight. They're behind the scenes. They're the first people to show up on a raw piece of land, and then they do the zoning, get the codes approved, and then they turn that finished product over to a builder. And that's what our development company does. There's an article here that speaks about Issachar development and the particular deal in Villa Rica. This is the original one that I was speaking about, close to my hometown. So it's a 230-acre mixed use project that's underway. Villa Rica was trying to get this going for years. Mike Embry came in and wanted to do the deal. We funded the deal, and so it's now underway. And this is an article written October of 2023 talking about Mike Embry and what's happening in Villa Rica. And you'll see here, and I'll highlight it, that Mike gives us credit for being the lending partner of the deal. Overall, the deal is going to be a $400 million project. And the one that they're working here in this article is just phase 1 of what is happening in Villa Rica. But this is a good example of what it looks like, again, in the real world, for developers, capital companies, and investors and communities. And then the last tab will be, this is our personal financial advisory firm. This will highlight me, my wife, and some of our capital partners, which the list is growing substantially, of capital partners, people that are helping us talk about the deal to people, explain the deal, present it, walk through the diligence, and then when people are comfortable, they are investing, and that's how we are raising the amount of capital that we're raising um, because of those processes. So the next thing would be memorandum of indebtedness. This is one thing I don't want to left undone for you. This is important. This is the legal contract. The name of the legal contract is memorandum of indebtedness. Let's see if I can get rid of that highlight there. All right, let me pause. Okay, so the memorandum of indebtedness, again, it's a legal document. It's actually been to the Supreme Court of the United States, and it has held up as a sustainable document. What this means is we, Issachar Capital, we are indebted to you, the investor. That's the relationship there. So this is your legal protection that as you are lending money to Issachar Capital to fund Embry development projects, that you have your hooks, so to say, into Issachar Capital, and you are owed your money and your interest. So people, of course, really appreciate this legal aspect to it. Much different than a mutual fund, of course. No guarantees with that. The next item here, the paragraph would be for self-directed IRAs. And the reason this is important is we can work with basically all types of money, and whether it's cash money or whether it's brokerage money. If you have a mutual fund, people would cash out of that position and then wire money to Issachar Capital. Or lastly, the point of this is we can also work with IRA money, 401k money. It's just a common transaction known as a rollover or a transfer. So my wife, Heather, runs the admin aspect of Issachar Financial. And if you want to contribute qualified money, 401k, IRA money, she will help you establish your own self-directed IRA. We work with a firm that does that. They're called Advanta, and they set up self-directed IRAs for everyone across the country. So that's a nice feature to have, is it can be cash money, it can be brokerage money, and it can be qualified money. So people really appreciate that. This article from CNBC, I included this. I'm on a lot of email feeds from different financial sources, always reading something and studying something. And this one hit home for me because it really describes what's happening with us and the marketplace in general. That family offices manage large sums of money for individuals and institutional investors. What we're seeing is they're moving away from the big wirehouses, the big banks, the big brokerages that you see when you watch Fox News, CNBC, and they're moving into the private marketplace, private equity, private hedge funds, because as I'm indicating here in this message to you, I feel this is much safer than the stock market. There are guarantees involved, and the returns are much more assertive than what you're finding out in the brokerage world with the risk involved. So this article talks about that, and it's nice to know that other people are doing what you're considering doing. You're not the only one. If you do this, invest with us, you are certainly not the only one who is considering these things. It's happening in big waves, and that wave is expected to turn even bigger over the next couple of years, people moving their money into private market positions, just like we've established here with Issachar Capital. So that's everything that I think would be beneficial to you to know. Hope that you find this valuable as well. Please reach out to me with follow-up and thoughts and questions, and would love to help you and love to see you become an investor with us. Take care. And I do want to mention the tax consideration for these deals. The IRC, the Internal Revenue Code, considers these to be earned interest, and so they will be taxed as ordinary income. And your clients, your investors can expect a 1099 at the end of the investment year.